Hello, everyone. My name is Connor Cunningham. My dad has ALS, who I actually have here with me. So I might as well go ahead and introduce you guys to him. Here he is. My guy. What is up? How are you doing, man? You're looking fit as ever. What workouts have you been doing, man? Tell me about it. Okay. Nice. The stair stepper. Dude, that's my favorite. Love that. That's awesome. It's always a pleasure to see you. Now, this is not my dad. Well, it is, if it wasn't obvious. I'm going to just put him right there. Hopefully the camera still focuses on me. He is actually at home napping right now because if you don't have ALS, that is a huge thing. Or you don't know about ALS, that is a huge thing. I'm going to try to keep the cuts down to a minimum this video. And it's been a very long time since I have talked to a camera. If you look back at my channel, I used to do gaming videos like 8 years ago. And I could talk decently back then, but it's been a very long time. So pardon me. But first off, I just kind of wanted to kind of address the elephant in the room. Some warnings. I'll probably be talking about some like pretty sensitive topics in here. Talking about this video, I essentially want to talk about the nitty gritty when it comes to ALS and kind of from the perspective as a caregiver and just kind of give my experience and hopefully give some hindsight or give some feedback, I guess, on how this affects people. And again, I can only talk about my personal experience. I'll be talking about me as a caregiver for my father. So essentially, warning, my dad does not like to see anything ALS related, even if it's a person of ALS who's having the best day of their life or something. He violently avoids anything related to this. So, which I viciously also do not like that he does that. I have been trying to get him to watch the Steve Gleason documentary for like a year and a half now since I first watched it. Still thinking about it all the time, which is a huge reason why I'm kind of doing this because I guess I'm doing this because I looked up like ALS, like my dad has ALS, like just ALS related things on YouTube, and I didn't really find much out there. So I'm hoping to kind of try to be a voice and see if people relate to this, or maybe I'm just kind of insane because I feel like I'm going insane, having to deal with this for however many years, which I will now tell you all some more details. So now we are getting into the video. So my dad was diagnosed November 2023. And so a little bit of context about me, because again, this I want to just kind of talk about from my personal experience. I had just been living in Minneapolis, Minnesota, working as a photography intern for the Minnesota Twins. So long story short, pretty much had the best year of my life. So coming back, so I moved back literally the week that my dad got diagnosed. Essentially, it was Thanksgiving week. I got there like late Thanksgiving week. Got back, they were actually on vacation, and I got back, did a freelance event for FC Cincinnati, and literally the next day they come home and immediately break the news to me. Didn't even just pretty much woke up. I mean, they told me that he was having some health related problems like the week prior, but obviously it was like he's always had a problem with his finger and stuff, like years and years, like 20 years. So I always kind of assumed that was something like that. But so essentially the juxtaposition from going from literally the best year of my life to like ALS now in life, like there could not be more of a split era when it comes to those. So the shell shock and I think the whiplash, I think I'm just now finally, like the last few months, I guess it's kind of it's always set in, but like it's just that whiplash from that was crazy. And obviously it's all kind of explained, like my dad's progression. Currently, he is pretty much bound to a wheelchair. I say pretty much because like we lift him up from we have like a reclining lift chair, which has been huge. So get that. I'll probably also try to give a lot of tips for people who are maybe new to ALS and you're just now getting this. I'll do a little tip video because there's a lot of tips in the hindsight that I feel like we could have done better, and I'll get into that because there's a lot of stuff we could have been doing it better. Um, so yeah, he's pretty much bound to a wheelchair. He has to use a toilet chair. So essentially, if he's in the reclining chair, we essentially have to lift him up. And if it's just me, so right now, also again, some context. Sorry, it is literally just me and my mom and him. Literally no other family members. I have an uncle and a grandma here from Louisville, Kentucky, um, and they're just obviously uncle's older, grandma's obviously older. They are not able to help. They're also on my mom's side, so it's a little. They don't really want to be too involved when it comes to bathroom stuff, or when I say too involved, they don't want to be involved at all when it comes to bathroom stuff. So that's kind of a little frustrating because it's all down to essentially me and my mom. But it's like you guys could help out a little, but I digress. So essentially, if it's just me, I lift him up, put him on the chair, then I have to lift him back up, and he can stand right now. Thankfully, he can still stand. Also, I just realized I didn't even really explain what ALS is, but I'm sure if you've watching this, you probably are aware, unless you're a friend or family who is seeing this when I post it. Not related, but it essentially ALS just kind of affects your nerves and stuff. I don't even really know. I try not to get into the weeds about it. I just know it's like the worst thing ever because I've experiencing it, so I don't really feel like it's hard to kind of research it when you can just see it happening. But essentially just affects your limbs and stuff one by one. There's also types of ALSs that affects your eating first and then limbs second, vice versa. That one's really tough as well. That one's probably even more tough because it's a lot more fast. But long story short, so he can still stand. So, so if it's just me, I'll stand him up with a walker and then pull his pants down, and he'll go, and then I'll have to wipe, which I thought going into I knew it was gonna come a day where I'll have to do it because eventually, for a while, he was still able to do it. My mom would kind of help if she was around because she's the best, so she would, and just that relationship, they can kind of do that. I would always kind of try to avoid it for as long as I could until it finally went to a head and he just couldn't do it anymore. So I pretty much do it every single time now, and it sucks. I feel like I've not looked specifically for too much, but man, I feel like no child should have to see their parent nude, especially in this fashion, and just kind of having to deal with that mentally every day, and then go to work and act like I'm totally fine when I just got done wiping my father's butt. It's not like oh my god, my day's ruined, but it's I feel like it affects it has to affect a person after so long. I think I'm definitely desensitized to it, but in the sense that there's a mosquito. There's definitely it's just hard doing that every single day. So I guess let me back up. I guess I'll kind of explain the daily our daily ALS's day. Realizing this video is kind of gonna be a lot longer than I anticipated, so it might just be. I wanted this to be a 10-minute video, but it's so hard to get so much information, so much context out in one video. So, hoping to try to keep this lower than 20, 30 minutes. And also, I hope this audio is level and not the whole time. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to. My first time, guys. Be patient. Essentially, once he wakes up, it'll be around an hour and a half, so around 4:30, and then essentially from there, same thing, just rinse and repeat. He'll have to go to the bathroom, then take him out to the chair, and then we kind of just wait around for my mom. Maybe I'll try to go back outside if it's appropriate, and he doesn't need me or anything. But again, we kind of just wait around till around 5:30, 6 o'clock until my mom gets home. And then he'll probably need to go to the bathroom again. It's a lot of peas that end up being something else. Sometimes he's really adamant about just standing, just someone holding the pee jug, for lack of a better term. And that way he thinks that it will trick his brain not to defecate. But, and I'll also talk about some horror stories. that is always not the best case, because sometimes when you do that, then you have unwelcome guests arriving, and the toilet chair is nowhere to be found, or you have to like shuffle him over, and it's a mess. And we've had those things happen. I'll talk about those here in a minute. Um, so once my mom's home, usually uh, we'll have dinner or whatever. At that point, once my mom's home, she can kind of, things are a lot easier, because again, just having two people around, even though she's not very strong, it's just a lot. It's just nice where maybe I can just focus on holding, and she can focus on doing whatever. Um, and then so yeah, they'll eat. She will feed him, and she has like a little table, so she'll kind of pull up the wheelchair, sit next to him, have a nice little buffet kind of situation on the table, and she'll feed him. And then around every so often, maybe he'll need to go to the bathroom. Then maybe they'll watch a movie. Essentially nothing really happens between like 7 and 10:30. Really nothing like scheduled. Usually it's always kind of if it comes up. But essentially, and then around 10:30, take him back, go to the bathroom, and then take him back, and there we go. That's essentially my life for Monday. I mean, if I'm not doing anything Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's essentially every day I'm not doing something. That is essentially my routine. And essentially, what sucks about it is I have to constantly be around. For me, again, I love helping him. I will do anything for him. I'll do anything for my family. But it just selfishly sucks to kind of constantly be around. I mean, even right now, like it's 4:20. I left her at 3 when he's taking his nap. I mean, I'm sure right now my mom's probably getting him out of bed, and she can get him out of bed, but she's having trouble because he is getting weaker, and I feel terrible. As of right now, she's adamant that she can handle it, but like there are times where she just can't help him, and I have to. And recently, I guess I can start talking about the horror stories now. But I guess before I get into that, I guess more of the story is like I have not been around him for like longer than like 7 hours, and the only time that is on a game day when my mom is specifically there, and he'll even try to schedule out his bathroom breaks or whatever to maybe right when I leave, and then right when I get home, and then maybe my mom right there in the middle. He definitely tries to kind of schedule it around. Lately, that's been getting a lot more tough, because it just he's losing the ability to kind of hold on to that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just been kind of tough. He fell while when I got up to cut. What a good looking guy, by the way. She. Um, so I guess I'll get into the horror stories now. So essentially, that's kind of just how I feel, and I can get into a lot more about it. It's just I want to try to get as many stories out there for people, um, and I'll probably timestamp everything in the bottom so y'all can skip through. Can you tell I don't do YouTube? The fact that I'm just now mentioning that. But some horror stories I always like to say like there's a huge juxtaposition between like when I have a good day and a bad day. And for example, our media day for Louisville City Media Day, get up at like 6:30. I have to be at the stadium at like 7:30. Um, oh my goodness. And like shoot for how like media days are like our big days. They are very strenuous, and it's what you plan for like a whole month for. And it's very taxing on your body. I say this as like I'm taking photos of soccer players who literally run like 9 miles a game, but I'm not that fit. And so essentially, having this great day, getting great photos, it's awesome. Hanging around people, hanging around, just being able to just do what I love to do. And then I come home, and kind of what I alluded to earlier, my mom, I think. Oh, okay, I remember. There's been a few falls and stuff, and it's hard to kind of keep track which one it goes of which. But I think I was moving files, and this was probably about 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 2 months ago. So he was still decently able to kind of stand up at that point. And I think I'm moving files on my computer on the couch, and hindsight, I should have got up to help. I didn't even think about it, because again, I thought maybe she was still able to have it under control. Not that it wasn't her fault. That's not what I'm implying. Um, it just sucks. But essentially, we're doing the thing where she holds the pee jug and he's peeing and he's standing up, and we have the scare. Oh my god, I'm booping. I'm defecating. Like it's gonna happen. So we try to. She tries to scoot him over before I can even get up, and we have a scare. Not just a scare, but we have a situation where he essentially falls while for lack of a better word, like pooping himself, and he kind of hits his head on the table slightly. I mean, it was that was. We've had some bad, like we've had some falls. Like they've had to call, like my mom has had to call the fire department because I wasn't there. Um, she doesn't want to bother me because I'm at work, which I did not enjoy. That she did not like that she did that. But that's another story. But this story, it's just so now I have my dad naked on the floor, hit his head, not too hard, but still hit his head, crying out in pain, poop around. My mom's in hysterics. I mean, she's freaking out, and it's just like whoa. 2 hours ago, I was having the best day of my life, and now I'm having this, and it's just like, and no one else knows about it. Like, I don't tell people this. Like, this is if you're a coworker and you're just not seeing this is like the first time that they know that it gets this bad, and because I don't talk about it, which is I'll get into that because no one ever asks about my dad, ever. So I have my own gripes about it. And that's not just coworkers. That's like literally friends and everyone. No one seems to ask how much. I don't know if there's another relatable thing. I hope it is. I hope it's not. I hope you guys, if you are a caretaker, people actually ask about your family members and stuff who are dying. But I digress. So it just like that's a horror story. We've had plenty others where, again, the same thing, and finally we have learned to just put him in the toilet chair, and whatever happens. Either pees or he doesn't. And then also, as you can tell, this whole disease is all revolved around moving him to go to the bathroom. That's essentially the big pressure point of this disease, or at least in his condition, is kind of the big problem where a lot of problems can arise essentially. I mean, there's other stories where, again, same thing, pee jug, standing up, ends up having to poop, and now he's pooped on the bed and the floor, and we've had those problems, and it just sucks. It's disgusting. I hate it. He feels awful. It's just the worst. Because then he can't clean it up for, obviously he would love to clean it up himself, but he can't. He literally physically can't, and so now he has to just watch us clean up, and it's just so, just so awful. It's like, and I'm always like cool about it. I'm always, hey, it is what it is. Like, it is what it is. I don't make him feel too bad about it. It sucks. Just gotta clean up the best you can and like really get in there and then clean up everything and shower him, which that used to be a whole big rigmarole, showering him, which my mom would shower him, but I would help him get in there. We recently just got our bathroom remodeled, thank God. So that's been a lot easier lately. But it's still just so strenuous just for him to just sit up in the shower for that long, for 10 minutes, while my mom cleans him. That is excruciating for him, and I feel terrible. It just sucks. This disease just sucks. So I guess I'll get into kind of my hindsight stuff now, like my tips and tricks. So being around this disease for, what is it, like 18 months now, there's definitely been a lot of stuff that we have learned about each other. Um, Also, I guess before that, my father's also the worst person to have this disease. He is always he's always been very negative and very cranky. Not like he's a great guy. I don't want to get it like that, but he's like always, what's the saying? Like always like glass half full or glass half empty type of guy. Like very always just pessimistic. That's a word. Just very negative. Long story short. So I have a tough time getting him to want to do anything, getting him to go even on a walk out of the house. And that kind of alludes to we don't have a van yet. We do have the big, and I'll put a photo of it, the big wheelchair that like is fantastic. I mean, that thing's speedy. He feels really comfortable in it. So it's a little tough for him to drive already, kind of, which is a little problem. But I think you can control it through like a remote or something. I have to kind of look into that. And that's another thing. It's like just gonna keep pushing it off till it's finally a problem, and then we'll make some moves. But long story short, we don't have a van. We still have his car that he used to drive, and it sucks because pretty much the only thing he can do with that wheelchair, we do have a ramp outside. We did get a ramp installed. Essentially, all he can do is go down the ramp and go drive around the street or like the neighborhood. And it's like, that's fine and dandy, but like, let's get you out of the house. Let's go to the zoo. Let's go to do stuff. And I understand, it's also the whole social aspect of it. It's like, I don't blame him. And I mean, he has not expressed this. I'm kind of just implying it's like being in a wheelchair that size and the condition. It's very hard to want to go out in public, and I understand that full-heartedly because people probably will look. And we don't have a big family, as we can kind of disguise him if we walk in like a big group and like it's like, oh, that's just a group and you barely even see him, but it's like literally just us three, and it's like I'm sure it would attract some eyes, and you probably it's just unwanted, and I understand that. And it's not like people are doing it rudely, but it's just people look. I look. It's just human nature. So it's just kind of that I'm sure that aspect sucks, but we don't have a van, and so we just can't even do anything. We can't even I want to go to the movies. I'm a big movie guy. That's like my kind of my whole thing. And I would love to go to the movies with him. And like for example, see Warfare that just recently came out, and it just I can't even go to the movie theaters. We do have a small electric wheelchair, but it's just not comfortable to sit in for 2.5 hours, 2 hours for a movie. And I don't blame him. Maybe we could take that and then transition him into the movie chair. But even that, like, what if that's not comfortable? And then he's kind of just screwed, and he just kind of has to sit there and suffer. It's like, I don't want to do that. Like, it just sucks. So, but essentially, we had a van. We could just take that wheelchair around and be able to do things and explore things and experience life. Which I guess my first tip is like, get a van as soon as you can, and then like experience life. Like, obviously, we're very stuck in middle class, so we're not wealthy at all, but we're also not like, I hate saying poor. It's a really bad term for it. But we're very middle class, and they go on vacations a lot, but I'm always like, Dad, like, try to experience life. Like, if you're gonna like, you only have so much more time here with us and with you. What else do you want to experience? And he's kind of alluded to, and especially he kind of felt like he's kind of done everything. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool and all, but you are dying. We need to get you doing something, even like instead of just sitting around all day. And I understand that like that it takes a lot of out of him, even if he is in the wheelchair and he's not moving at all. Just being able to just be around and just be awake, because he has to take his nap. So if he goes out, he can't take a nap, and it's just like very frustrating. So I hope I'm not talking too fast. As you can tell, I've had this idea to do this video for like 6 months, and it's the first time I feel like I've also had enough free time to do it. And I thought about it in December and didn't want to do it in the snow and stuff. So I've just had a lot of pent up thoughts, and I'll probably do multiple videos of these and hopefully have guests on. But so yeah, van is huge. Wheelchair, essentially, you want to try to be ahead of the curve, because eventually he will be wheelchair bound. Like, it's literally inevitable. And he's only had it for like 18 months. He's probably been in the wheelchair for about 2 to 3 months now, where it's like that's kind of been his main thing. Probably more than 2 and 3. But I mean, his diagnosis essentially went from he could still walk. He even went to the gym for about a few weeks to a month before he just physically couldn't, and mostly he couldn't go because he couldn't drive. And hindsight, I should have drove him more to the gym, and even if that's just him walking on a treadmill, because he really enjoyed the people that he worked out with. It was like just a YMCA, but he really enjoyed just seeing that, and he really enjoyed being in that community. And it just really sucks. Oh God, I'm gonna get emotional. Just really sucks because I was kind of taken from him. And I always say like, hey, you want to just go back there and just see if anyone's there, talk to them. He's I don't want them to see me like this, and it's like, what can you say to that? I mean, I agree, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you just got to kind of do it. So be ahead of the curve. Just a van is huge, and it's so hard to get one because it's so hard about sizing. Having one local because we can't really. It's not like we can go travel to it with him and size it up. But all right, this is good for him. This is good for because it's a pretty hefty wheelchair, which sucks. So maybe people who've seen this can drop some comments and some tips and stuff. I think we saw one in like Elizabethtown, which is kind of close to us, so we might be able to check that one out. But like, just gotta hope it's stable enough for him for his wheelchair and his situation. I want to say that's pretty much it for now. I would love to like kind of bring my mother out here and kind of talk to her and get her perspective. I would love to get my dad out here and talk about his perspective and maybe do like a monthly kind of check-in on him. Just kind of get his thoughts. But again, like I said, there's not even like talking about this. I've been begging him to talk or to watch the Steve Gleason documentary, which is, I mean, I don't think I've cried that much before in my life, and just everything he's gone through, and he's still, kicking, is unbelievable. And even, talks about caretakers and how it affects caretakers so much. It's like, I don't want him, like, obviously, now I'm talking about Steve Gleason. It's like, I don't blame him for not wanting to pass away. It's like, for him, he's fighting for a cause and his movement, and he's a figurehead for ALS and stuff. But it's hard to kind of put that pressure on your family. It's like for a little while, it was just like his wife helping him, and it's like, that's a lot, to ask for someone. And now, thankfully, he has the money and stuff to be able to have support and caregivers that can help, so it's not so much of a burden on other people. Because it's not a burden, because like I said, I'll do anything for my dad and for my family and my mom, whatever. But it affects everyone, not equally, that's for sure. Him most of all, of course. But it's just I do see my mental health. I'm definitely a lot more cranky around him. Oh my god, he fell over. And I definitely see myself. I'm a lot more. I have a little short fuse. I definitely kind of. Okay, there was just a tree branch that just fell. That's crazy. God, man, go to the park, everyone. Get out of the house and see some stuff. Jeez Louise, it's all bunny. Now that, jeez, that's awesome. So I definitely feel like my mental health, like, I keep telling them, like, I'm so done. Like, I don't know how much longer I can do this, because I really, like, we have a lot of fights, and that's something that has been kind of a thing forever. Like, for example, going to the airport, my dad would always, let's go, we gotta go. It's like, Bill, which is his name, Bill. Relax, buddy, like, we're fine. And he kind of just sets everything off, and he's still very much like that. For example, if we have to go do a clinic, it's very much, he wants to get like there an hour and a half early, and it's like, dude, we are more than enough, like, on time and stuff. That even brought me thinking, God, this video's gonna be so long, but I want to keep it all here. But like, we used to go to some physical therapy clinics and just kind of stuff like that. And I call them, I've had a lot of moments, and I call them like, this is really my life moment, where it's like, I'm sitting there helping him stretch out, do some stretches with the physical therapist, and I'm looking around at all these other people who have similar things, maybe car crash or whatever, in this big like room, and it's just like, wow, this is my life. Like, just at that point, this was a year ago now probably, but like at that point, I was like 6 months ago, I was having the best year of my life, and now I'm here, and it's like, whoa, like, I have so many moments of, wow, this is really my life now. And that's kind of like when those accidents happen, that's kind of, it's like, wow, this is my life. And I would never wish it on anyone's life. I wish this was no one's life. It's just like, I never thought this would be me. And this has kind of, it's definitely hijacked my life, kind of, just, he has been around my life, and like, I can't really apply for jobs. And now I'm kind of talking about my job. Like, so I got to get into this. Like, since I am not full time. I don't make a lot of money as much as I feel like I should. I like I could be full time, and that's a whole other thing. Um, so I can't really apply for jobs here in Louisville because I'm a sports photographer. So there's like not really any other jobs here for that. I do freelance stuff, not very often, but I do it because it's hard finding the time. I just had to tell Chet White, if you're University of Kentucky photographer, you're seeing this. I'm sure he's probably not, but shout out to him. He asked me if I could shoot. I think it was track and field. I would love to. I love shooting track and field. It's sweet, but it's like it was like 3 or 4 days. I think it was like Thursday through Saturday, and it's like I just I can't leave him that long, and it just sucks not having to turn away probably good money and a good experience, and it just sucks. I've had to do that multiple times. I think yeah, similar stuff. It's just constantly I have to kind of juggle that and like what's worth my time, what's worth maybe having my mom work from home that day, and then if she works from home, someone else has to come in for her job, who was working at home, and it's like a whole domino effect, and it just sucks. I totally forgot why I started this talking about my job. Oh yeah, I pretty much put my life on hold essentially. Yes, and no, I say that, but like I also there's so many sports photography jobs you can apply for, and there's the market. There's so many great photographers out there. University students are coming out like, out of the woodwork nowadays, and it's just tough finding a job. I was in, um, I did get interviewed for a job in Cincinnati of a baseball team. I'll let you put two and two together. I'm sure I can say that publicly. That got hired. That would have been nice because it would have been still pretty kind of close to home. And it's like, the only way I would move is it appropriate? Is it still close enough where I can still come back every so often, and help? But it's like if I got put on full time, even here, we would probably hire a nurse to work, maybe 2 or 3 days, and I would work from home. And then my mom still has Tuesdays, so maybe I'd work home on Mondays and Thursdays, and the nurse would just still have to be here Tuesday or Thursday and Friday, something like that. It'd be fantastic. But that's unfortunately just not in the cards right now, as much as I would like that to be the case. And it just sucks. See other photographers get jobs and that I feel like I could have applied for and could get, and it just really sucks having to kind of put my life on hold. But I think this video is long enough. I can definitely talk more about more experiences. I mean, I barely feel like I even just skim the surface on kind of the complexities of this disease and just how it affects us. Like when we talk to each other, like how he asks for help. I'm really a big proponent is if he wants to go to the bathroom, he needs to say like, "Hey Connor, can you help me? I need to go to the bathroom." He really likes just saying, "I need to go to the bathroom," and it's like, I hate that. And so then I'd always start, and it turns into an argument. And there's so many proponents of this disease, but if this gets a lot popular enough, I'll be posting this on like Reddit, and Facebook and Instagram and stuff. But if people want to see more about stuff like this, let me know. And like I said, I want to get my mom on it, maybe interview her, just maybe even have her just kind of talk about her experiences. But that's about it. Last thing I'll say before I just thought about it, I kind of mentioned like no one really asks about my dad. I want to shout out a few people who have. Chris Carter, my second shooter at our soccer games, great guy. He's been racing at me lately. He last season near the end, asked me about my dad. Caught me off guard. Literally, my dad's probably been diagnosed. I posted it publicly. That's the thing. I don't tell people about it, really. But I did post about it on Instagram, and it got a lot of traction. I'm assuming people have seen that and heard the grapevine, but no one really had asked me. That had been posted for like 6 months. I have a small tidbit. Like Ben I talked to Ben, graphic designer, great guy, freaking love him. I'll talk to him about it, and he'll kind of ask me about it, because I guess I kind of opened the door. But Chris was the first person to straight up ask me, "How's your dad doing?" And I mean, I almost teared up, caught me so off guard. I was like, "Whoa, yeah." We actually just got rid of carpet and put in hardwood so it's easier for the wheelchair to um, move. It's like, yeah, man, appreciate you asking. Like, yeah, it's been tough but good. He's hanging in there. But it's like no one ever asks, and this is not a plea for people to just kind of ask, just feel like they have to. Um, but it just kind of sucks. Like my friends and I play games with and stuff. Like it's like I feel like if I had a friend whose family member was like this, and I knew they were like the main caretaker, pretty much every day I get on, hey, how's the dad doing? All right, sweet. Now let's play some games or whatever the situation is. Just kind of always kind of have that just a check in, and just no one does that unfortunately. Like Peter and Ben, like I talked to them about it, but I feel like it's you can tell when you talk to people about this stuff, like the life just leaves their eyes, and it's like they don't want to hear about it, and I don't blame them, and I don't want to feel pity and stuff. So it's a really tough, tricky road. But all right, long story short, I'm gonna end it here. Um, Maybe do some more videos. Maybe not. Maybe I was thinking about it like might not do any more videos about this, and I will probably the one video I will probably do is talking about when it eventually passes, years from now, months from now, who knows when. We'll probably do a video kind of talking about that experience because I'm sure that's going to be god awful. So I will definitely be doing a video about then. So subscribe. You'll get at least one more video at some point. I guarantee it. But I'll probably try to do some more and have some more special guests and maybe some more experiences from me. But I don't really have too much more to really tell, except like the really nitty gritty stuff, like about getting a van and stuff. But I've already kind of talked about it. But all right, I've rambled on enough. As you can tell, I'm a yapper. So that's pretty much about it. I'm Connor Cunningham. Dad Has ALS. This is my experience, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.